The building stood tall and imposing, a grim sentinel against the backdrop of the night sky. The old hostel, they called it. Students whispered tales, stories of cold drafts and things that go bump in the night. The windows, dark and vacant, stared out like the empty sockets of a skull, blind eyes that had witnessed too much. Whatever the truth, one thing was certain: the old hostel held secrets, secrets that were best left undisturbed. Mark, the athletic one, scoffed at the rumours. David, the quiet observer, listened intently, but said little. John, the joker, laughed off the eerie atmosphere, but his laughter was a little too loud, a little too forced. Kevin, the level-headed one, tried to rationalise the strange noises, but even Kevin couldn't shake off the feeling of unease that clung to him like a shroud. Chris, the sensitive one, felt it most keenly, the weight of the unseen. The five friends were inseparable, bound by a shared history and a youthful sense of invincibility. They treated the old hostel like a challenge, a dare to be conquered. They moved in with a mix of bravado and nervous laughter, but beneath the surface a sense of dread lingered. The first night was the quietest. An unsettling stillness hung in the air. The boys, emboldened by each other's presence, told stories and shared jokes. As the night wore on, fatigue set in. One by one, they drifted off to sleep. John was the last one awake, listening to the silence. He had the unsettling feeling of being watched, scrutinized by unseen eyes. Then he heard it, a soft, almost inaudible whisper. The next day, John told the others about the whisper. Mark laughed it off, attributing it to John's overactive imagination. But David noticed the tremor in John's voice. Objects moved without explanation. Books shifted on shelves. Doors creaked open as if pushed by an unseen hand. The whispers returned, softer but more insistent. They would hear their names called out in the night, softly at first, then with increasing urgency. One night, Kevin woke up to the sound of footsteps, slow and deliberate, coming from the hallway outside their room. The door creaked open slowly, revealing a sliver of darkness. Kevin held his breath, his eyes wide with terror. He could feel the presence in the doorway. The footsteps stopped just inside the room. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the presence was gone. The door swung shut with a soft click, plunging the room back into darkness. The following days were filled with a growing sense of dread. Objects would fly across the room without warning, as if propelled by an unseen force. Terror gripped them as they watched a swirling vortex of energy materialize in the cold spot. It crackled with an eerie, otherworldly light. From the center of the vortex, a figure began to emerge. It was tall and skeletal, its eyes glowing with a malevolent fire. Fear surged through them. They scrambled back, their screams echoing in the confines of the room. The figure stepped out of the vortex, its form solidifying as it moved. It raised its hand, its long, bony fingers outstretched. A blood-curdling scream pierced the night, followed by an unnatural silence. The old hostel stood silent once more, its secrets kept safe within its ancient walls.